The Lewis men's volleyball team has advanced to the semifinal round of the MIVA championships, and both golf teams continue to see success. We'll have the latest in Lewis athletics coming up right now. Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Later on in the show, we'll talk with assistant men's volleyball coach Matt McCarthy. He'll talk about the team's performance over the weekend as well as their games coming up.
But before we get to that, let's take a look at some other Flyer sports headlines. It was another successful weekend for the #1 Lewis men's volleyball team as they advanced to the semifinal round of the MIVA tournament. The team played their first tournament game last Saturday night when they welcomed #8 seed Grand Canyon to the Neal Carey Arena. The Flyers brought back their strong blocking game and defense and held the Antelope to a negative hitting percentage throughout the entire night. The team combined that strong defense with power on the offensive side and combined for a total of 31 kills on the night, 8 of which came from senior opposite Eric Fitterer. Grand Canyon also committed 25 errors in the game, leading to the Flyers' 3-0 sweep and advancing to the semifinal round of the tournament. After the game, senior outside hitter Greg Petty talked about the keys to the game, as well as what the team needs to do moving forward. Congratulations on the win here tonight, and I guess talk about what worked well here so well for you guys in this first game.
I mean, realistically, it was just our serving. We kind of served them off the court. We had a lot of aces as a team, and we've been playing really well in practice. Had a lot of rest, so I'd have to say our serving is definitely a thing that helped us out in this one.
And talk about the blocks. We've been talking about that all night. This team is definitely led by blocks. Talk about those a little bit and how well they've worked for you guys here tonight.
I mean, it's really down to the scouting reports, too, because Coach helps us out, figure out what the guys want, like what the other team hits a lot of the situations, and we just kind of follow what they want and make sure we're not diving our hands or anything, just pressed over. And even like our defense around that is a lot easier to play because it's just a solid block is a lot easier to play defense around, so it's good.
The team is back in action on Tuesday night when they welcome Lindenwood to the Neal Carey Arena for the semifinal match. If the Flyers win on Tuesday night, they'll play in the championship game on Friday evening.
The women's golf team had a successful weekend after competing in the 2015 Great Lakes Valley Conference Women's Golf Championships and finishing in 6th place. Lewis totaled a 3-round score of 993 and was only 2 shots shy of a top 5 performance. Sophomore Melissa Van Sistine finished with a tie for 11th place, shooting a .235, while senior Daniel Kaufman tied for 33rd. Freshman Hannah Schultz was just 2 places behind Kaufman, taking 35th, and junior Jordan Nichols in 42nd. 14 teams and 70 players competed in the championship. The Flyers now wait to see if they will receive a bid to the NCAA East Regional. On the men's side, the Flyers also competed in the 2015 Great Lakes Valley Conference Men's Golf Championship. The Flyers finished in 2nd overall. On Friday, the NCAA Division II Men's Golf Committee announced that the Flyers had earned a bid to compete at the 2015 NCAA Division II Central Midwest Regional at Cog Hill Country Club beginning May 4th. This is their 3rd straight and 7th overall program appearance.
The early spring weather continues to work against the Lewis softball team, who only played 2 out of their 4 scheduled games last weekend. The ladies were scheduled to play Drury on Saturday afternoon, but rain in the Romeoville area postponed that game until Monday. The team did, however, pick up 2 wins on Sunday afternoon against Missouri S&T. The pitching staff was once again the strongest link for the ladies, as senior Kelly Bowler and sophomore Lainey Schwickert each pitched complete game shutouts. Several Flyers also helped at the plate, including sophomore Carly Jawowski, who went 4 for 4 with a home run, and the Flyers picked up the sweep 7-0 and 4-0. The ladies also played Drury on Monday afternoon at the Lewis softball field. After the game, Lewis head softball coach Becky Pearl talked about the keys to both games this weekend.
We really talked about leaving everything on the field, and I know we say that every week, but really felt like they came out and wanted to do that today. They persevered. They didn't give up. We spread the love out, had a lot of people stepping up and taking big roles and making big things happen, and so I'm just really proud of them, and as we go into conference play, I hope we keep it up.
This was the last weekend of the regular season for the ladies. The GLVC Softball Championship Tournament is next weekend in East Peoria, and the team will wait to hear if they've been selected to play.
The Lewis baseball team played 5 games last week and picked up victories in 3 of them. The team traveled down the street to Joliet to take on the University of St. Francis at Silver Cross Field last Tuesday night. The Flyers started the game strong and put up 4 runs in the first inning and scored at least 1 run in 6 of the 9 innings played. The Flyers eventually took the game from the Fighting Saints 10-2, giving head baseball coach Tim McDonough his 200th career win. The team also went on the road last weekend and played St. Joe's. The team split their doubleheaders both days, but pitching worked in the Flyers' favor. Freshman Ryan Fox extended his scoreless streak to 17 innings as the team won half of their games played. The guys are back in action at home this weekend for the last home games of the season. They'll start on Tuesday afternoon when they welcome Grand Valley State to Brennan Field.
It was a successful weekend for both Lewis track and field teams as they competed in several different events. The men's team spent the weekend in Lisle competing at the Twilight Invitational hosted by Benedictine University. Overall, the Flyers finished in 10th place behind a strong performance from junior Dan Lentz, who finished second in the 110-meter hurdles. Meanwhile, the number 19 Lewis women's team finished in 5th place at the Twilight Invitational after junior Jamie Halfschwang completed the 5,000-meter run. But it was the performance at the Drake relays that stood out for the ladies. Senior Rebecca Preisler picked up a qualifying mark in the pole vault competition, as did the 4x400 relay team. Both teams are back in action this weekend when they compete at the GLVC Championships.
Well, we had such a rainy weekend. It's unfortunate because then softball wasn't able to play, but it's good to see that they're going to be making up the games.
Yeah, exactly. Good to see the Drury comes back and goes out there and they play the games. And even though the field conditions might not be the best, they'll still go out there and try to finish off the season.
Right, absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk with assistant volleyball coach Matt McCarthy. Stay tuned.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The men's volleyball team continues to see success. Over the weekend, the team swept the number 8 seed Grand Canyon in the MIVA tournament, and now the team is getting ready to play Lindenwood in the semifinal match on Tuesday night. Joining me now to talk about this season and the upcoming games is assistant men's volleyball coach Matt McCarthy. Thanks for coming out and joining us today, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. And like I mentioned, the team picked up a sweep over Grand Canyon over the weekend. Mm-hmm. What worked so well in that game?
We served and passed really well. You know, the first contact really helps out all your other contacts on the ball. So serving pressure sets up your defense, passing really well sets up your offense, and when we execute those two things, we're pretty dangerous.
And talk about the blocking a little bit. The team used the block to their advantage pretty much all season, but especially in that Grand Canyon game. How strong has that block been in the front of the net for you guys?
It's been huge for us, leading the nation with over 3 blocks a set. It's kind of an anchor for our defense and for scoring points for us. And for me, it's really fun to watch. I think the blocking is one of the funnest parts of the game.
So you talk about the blocking that the team has been doing a lot this year, but it kind of looked like towards the end of that Grand Canyon game, the Antelope were kind of adjusting to that. What do you guys do to kind of stop the other teams from making those adjustments to your strong blocking game?
Yeah, so with Grand Canyon, they started avoiding our block a little bit more because when you hit into our block, it makes it tough.
Right.
So when teams start avoiding our block, our other parts of our game, like floor defense and transition offense, have to pick up.
So this was the 4th year in a row that Lewis has won the first round of the MIVA tournament. What's the mindset, I guess, going from a regular season game into a tournament game like you guys have been playing?
We try to say just treat every match the same, so really not changing any mindset. I know there is more implication, and that's kind of in the back of our minds, but we try to treat every match the same, and that's how we've been doing it all season.
So from here on out, it's the tournament. It's against teams that you guys have seen already this year.
Yeah.
What's the advantage of already playing these teams once or twice this year and then seeing them again in the playoffs?
Advantage is that we kind of have an idea what's coming at us. Disadvantage is that they also have an idea what's coming at them. So when it comes to the first time we play them, there's a little bit unknown of what's going on, a little bit more in-game adjustment. Second time, still a little bit, but a little bit clearer picture of what's going to happen. And then when we get to playoffs, it's kind of both teams know what's coming at you, and it's executing at a higher level.
So last week we talked with Greg Petty, and he mentioned that the team sort of has a target on their back, the number one team in the country, the number one seed in the MIVA tournament. Does the team feel that kind of pressure against other teams like Ohio State and Loyola coming into the Neil Carey Arena and wanting to play hard against you guys?
I would say no. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, that's good.
I don't feel the pressure. I mean, we've known we had a good team all season. Have been kind of we like the rankings. It's nice to have, but we've been kind of somewhat ignoring it because it's really just you got to show up every single day, every day in practice and then every match in order to keep those rankings. So we try to keep that mindset.
And a lot of your guys on the team are juniors and seniors. They have playoff experience. How helpful is that they've been here before and now they're here again?
That's huge. I mean, you can't replace that. That experience will take you a really long way.
So earlier, last week, head coach Dan Friend won the 2015 MIVA Coach of the Year award.
Yes.
And it's a big honor for him, but I'm guessing that has implications on the entire team as well to have your coach named as the head coach of the year.
Yeah, I believe he's maybe should have won it in the past multiple times. Excellent, phenomenal coach. But I think with this group, especially with 8 seniors and so many guys that are really high impact players for us, what an awesome award to give your coach as they kind of go out. So I think it's a great honor.
So additionally, there are several players named to the MIVA, all conference team. Mm-hmm. How does that help the team for these guys to be honored and receive these awards at the end of the year?
It's a big honor. I think it's very well deserved. These guys put in a lot of hard work. I don't think it's make or break whether we get those honors or not. I think our guys will still come in and work hard, but it's really nice to be recognized. Really appreciate it.
So coming up on Tuesday night, the game against Lindenwood, the semifinal game of the MIVA tournament. If Flyer fans come out to watch the game, what can they expect to see?
Hopefully some great volleyball on both sides of the net, but hopefully a win for the Flyers.
All right, Coach, anything else you'd like to add while you're here today?
No, thank you very much for having me.
All right, you're very welcome. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills?
Check.
Driver's license?
Check.
And a high school diploma or GED.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Even though rain prevented the Lewis softball team from playing some of their games last weekend, they still earned a few more wins and helped add to their winning record. Let's take a look at the current standings for their team going into the final weekend of play. The Flyers are sitting in 9th place in the conference with their 13-13 record. UMSL, Indianapolis, and Southern Indiana are holding the top 3 positions in the conference, while McKendree, Missouri S&T, and UW Parkside are sitting at the bottom of the conference.
We're coming up on the end of the baseball season, and the Flyers added 3 games to their winning record over the weekend. But it didn't help them too much in the overall standings. Let's take a look at where they currently sit. The Flyers are sitting in 6th place in the Eastern Division with their 15-17 record. Indianapolis, Southern Indiana, and Bellarmine hold the top 3 spots in the division, with UW Parkside and McKendree sitting just behind the Flyers.
Last week, the GLVC announced freshman Ethan Bloom of the baseball team as their PNC Baseball Player of the Week. Bloom went 13 for 24 at the plate last week as the Flyers turned in a 4-2 GLVC record against UW Parkside and Southern Indiana. The freshman posted multiple hits in 5 of the 6 games, which included 3 doubles and a home run while striking out just once in 24 trips to the plate. He reached base at a .542 clip and turned in a slugging percentage of .792.
Last week, the MIVA announced redshirt sophomore Jacob Schmiegelt as their Defensive Player of the Week. Schmiegelt helped the Flyers clinch the top spot in the MIVA tournament with back-to-back wins last weekend. The middle hitter also had 9 block assists in the sweep of Ohio State on Friday and added 2 blocks in the game against McKendree on Saturday. Schmiegelt averaged 2.75 blocks per set in the weekend and has moved up to 5th place in the MIVA for blocks per set.
The MIVA also announced last week that Lewis head men's volleyball coach Dan Friend has earned the Coach of the Year award. This is the first time Friend has earned the MIVA Coach of the Year honor. Lewis owned a 24-2 overall record going into the postseason with their winning percentage of .923, the highest in the nation. The Flyers enter postseason playing #1 team in the country.
It's time to announce our Flyer Nation Player of the Week awards, and we'll start with Carly Jawowski of the softball team. Jawowski went 6 for 7 with a home run in Sunday's doubleheader against Missouri S&T and helped lead the Flyers to a win over the Miners. Jawowski is a sophomore on the team and plays all infield positions.
Our second Flyer Nation Player of the Week award goes out to Rebecca Preisler of the women's track and field team. Preisler set an automatic qualifying bid in the pole vault competition at the Drake Relays over the weekend. The senior cleared 4.05 meters and finished 12th in the event.
Well, it's good to see that award go out to Coach Dan Friend of the men's volleyball team. He's been here 11 years, never received that award before, but he's had some very successful teams during his time here, especially this year.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's very well deserved, like you said. We're seeing so much success with them, both this season and past. So, you know, it's good to see an award go to a good coach.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Info
watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
It's our last week of school and we don't have too many more games left, but if you haven't come out to see the Lewis athletic teams in action, you still have one more chance this week. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. On Tuesday afternoon, the baseball team is at home taking on Grand Valley State. That game is set to start at 4 o'clock at Brennan Field, and if you're a senior, be sure to come out at 3:30 and spend some time with Brother James, who'll be there to talk with the students who donate to the Senior Challenge. On Tuesday night, the men's volleyball team is at home taking on Lindenwood in the semifinal game of the MIVA tournament. We'll have coverage of that game here on LUTN Channel 6, as well as our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM. On Friday afternoon, the men's volleyball team could be back in action in the championship game of the MIVA tournament. If the Flyers do advance, we'll once again have coverage here on LUTN, as well as our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM. And on Saturday, the baseball team is at home taking on Indianapolis in a doubleheader at noon and 3 o'clock. Live stats can be found online at lewisflyers.com. And before we leave today, this is the last episode of Flyer Nation for the semester and my last episode of Flyer Nation here at Lewis. I've produced and hosted this show for the last 2 years, and I want to thank everybody who's helped make this show what it is today, especially the athletic department and the staff here at LUTN, as well as schools all across the GLVC for making my life as a producer a little bit easier. This show wouldn't have been all it was without all of your help. And of course, there's a lot that happened here on camera that you didn't see on TV. We'll show you some of those bloopers that have happened here on Flyer Nation as well. Let's take a look. Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Brudig. Joining us later on in the show is Lewis head swim coach Roger Carnes. He'll talk about the team, he'll talk about the end of, let's start over again. You know what I started thinking of, and that's what made me laugh?
What?
You saying, I'm Shane Gustafson with my man.
I've never said that though.
I know, but we've gotten so much crap for them saying that on WLRA.
I know. Last week, the GLVC announced that senior Rebecca Preisler of the women's track and field team is, wait, I can't read, seriously, this is the problem. We're good to see all those awards, especially Jamie Johnson with a 4.0 GPA and really earning her way to the All-American status.
Right, absolutely, and it's just even a plus that she's also a fellow comm major.
Yeah, that is a plus.
Shane, come on. God, amateur hour here.
Okay. All right.
Can you do it this time?
I could try.
All right.
Right. Well, good to see Jamie Johnson getting that award.
I was making a stupid face when you said
Yeah, I would think so.
Alrighty, well, when we come back, we'll talk with Lewis High baseball coach Tim McDonough. Stay tuned. Did I say alrighty? I think I did.
You might have, I don't know.
I think, alrighty.
What?
Oh, God, my head is open.
Okay. Not so sure what that means, but I won't question it. Hello. I'm ready.
The door's open.
I'm going to shut the door, though. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Joining us later on in the show.
Yeah, that's me, but you don't need to. We're coming up on spring break, but there are still a few. I can't read. This is.
Well, it looks like Kelly Bowler had a really strong weekend over the weekend.
Really strong weekend over the weekend?
Why don't you start that one?
Okay. Well, good to see these. Oh, sorry.
Wow, I give up. Like, I need. Okay.
You're so close. So
I know,
close.
I know.
All right. Well, that will do it for us this week here on Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to tune in. Well, Shane, like you said, this is your last episode of Flyer Nation. It's probably very bittersweet. I've enjoyed being your co-host, and I've learned more about sports through doing the show. so I give you, a lot of thanks for that.
Well, and thank you for doing the show. I know you weren't, super comfortable with it in the beginning, but it was good to see you come out and do the show. So thank you very much.
We definitely had fun.
We did. That's for sure. All right, well, that will do it for this last episode of Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to join us next year for Lewis sports coverage right here on LUTN for the latest in Flyer athletics.
From all of us here at Flyer Nation, have a great day and good luck on finals.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.